The fact that woman is different from the man does not mean that she is inferior. The Bible uses a term that have aggravated feminists for many, many years when it refers to woman as the weaker vessel. And physically she is, but only physically. God created woman and man to live together, to work together, to travel through life side by side as one. And we notice in verse 3 that God made man and woman for each other. And notice what is said, that they two or twain shall be one flesh. In the marriage relationship, we go from being an individual, male or female, to being part of a grand creation. Male and female in the marriage relationship become one. And this is the relationship that God intended. In chapter 2 and verse 18 of Genesis, and the Lord God said, "It is not good that man should be alone." Now these words were spoken before He created Eve, woman. It is not good that man should be alone. I will make a helpmeet for him. Can you imagine Adam on the earth before the creation of woman? He was there among all of the animals. And I don't know about you, but I like animals. Various kinds. Some are really fascinating. But can you imagine trying to find fulfillment and companionship among animals? These creatures, although some might be loving, they cannot communicate through speech. They cannot share with our joy and our happiness. They cannot truly feel our sorrow. They cannot communicate. Therefore, God made woman to fulfill all of those needs and to work with man side by side. And how wonderful that in the home relationship, as God intended it, God created the process of bearing children. And how wonderful, because we see the beauty. We see the beauty of creation in every child that is born. And God intended for these children to be born into a relationship in which mother and father would bring them up, train them, teach them. Proverbs 22 and verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go. Fathers have a grave responsibility, serious responsibility, according to Ephesians chapter 6. Not just mom. We find that God has created the ideal situation in the home and family. Mother, father, husband, wife, children. That doesn't even begin to touch on how wonderful grandchildren are. That's a whole other ballgame. But you see, here is God's plan. Here's what God intended. Now, side note. Much of the unhappiness, the sadness, the misery, the crime is due today in part to the fact that men and women, husbands and wives, have abandoned God's plan of marriage. I don't know of anyone who will deny that who believes in God. So much of the heartache could be avoided. So many of our children who are growing up today could have had a different life had we respected the relationship that God intended. Had adults taken seriously the relationship as husband and wife. And the promises, the vows that we take, if those were taken seriously, then things would truly be better. Because remember, God is who originated marriage. Therefore, it is a divine institution. Second of all, marriage is a supreme relationship. It is, in some senses, outside of the Christian relationship, the most fulfilling, the most wonderful human relationship of all. Listen carefully. The marriage relationship takes precedence over every other relationship among humans. We understand the intimate relationship that children have with mom and dad. One of the sweetest words in the English language is mother. And all of us realize and we love our parents. They are the ones who brought us into the world. They're the ones who provided for us. They're the ones who are there when we are hurt or when we are hurting. But we understand in the marriage relationship that it is far more precious. They take a secondary place. We read in Genesis 2 and verse 24, God's design, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife. No disrespect intended. But one of the problems that many encounter today is the failure to heed what God says. Some want to maintain that relationship with mom and dad, and that taking precedence over the husband or over the wife. Leave father and mother and cleave to the wife. Now, if a person loves mom and dad more than their spouse, they're going to have problems in marriage. If someone about to get married loves mom or dad more than their spouse, they're going to have a rocky marriage at best. Leave father and mother. Not stop loving father and mother, but realize that that relationship with mom and dad is a changing relationship. That husband or my wife is going to come ahead of mom or dad. And if by chance a choice has to be made, it's going to be with my spouse, not with my parents. Again, this would save a lot of difficulties if we would understand what God wants, and if we understand that marriage is indeed a supreme relationship, the most important earthly relationship. But then also, we need to stress that marriage makes the husband and wife one. Going back to Matthew chapter 19, I want you to notice with me verse 6. Wherefore they are no more two or twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. In the marriage relationship, we become one. Look at Ephesians chapter 5 with me for just a moment, please. Ephesians chapter 5, and I want to read beginning with verse 28 and read through verse 32. We see here the relationship and the importance of the marriage relationship as a parallel is drawn between Christ and the church and husband and wife. Christ is the bridegroom and the church is the bride. Now notice here what is said, please. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself, for no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord also the church.